friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting episode 2 of KU Clean Out. If you are new here and you have not seen episode 1, I will have it linked down below. It does have its own playlist. This whole series has its own playlist, but KU Clean Out is Kindle Unlimited Clean Out. So for some reason on my Kindle Unlimited books tend to come on my Kindle and then they'll leave again, and I always say, oh, I'll make time, but they usually end up just getting swapped out for other Kindle Unlimited titles, and I don't love doing that because the author gets paid per pages that are read. So if I return a book before I actually read the book, then they don't actually get paid for that book, if that makes sense. So a lot of times last year, what I was finding, and actually the year before, what I was finding myself doing was I would just go in and purchase the ebook or a physical copy of the book. I did that a few times. I also purchased like the audiobook a couple of times just so that I felt that I was contributing to the author. So this year we're going to just try to read the books that I have in Kindle Unlimited, and that is where KU Clean Out comes in. So I am allowed to DNF the books if I do not enjoy them. I am not going to make myself continue to read books that I am not enjoying. I've never done that in the history of my channel, and I'm not going to start now. But kind of the point of this is just to make sure that I am reading the books that I need to read. So I am shuffling my thing. So I just shuffled so I just shuffled all of my slices because I just put them all in and then I just shuffled them around. And so I have every book except for 2 that are currently in my Kindle Unlimited, and the reason that 2 of them are not in there is because they are for a specific other project. So there are 18 books in here. A lot of them are hockey romance. If you know anything about me and you're not new to the channel, you know that I am nothing if not a sucker for hockey romance. And if you're following on my story graph, you know that I'm currently rereading Pucking Sweet. I was going to include that in KU Clean Out this month, except that I felt that it was a little bit cheaty to do that because I actually physically own this book. So I actually own Pucking Sweet. I actually own all of the books on my Kindle. Every book that's part of the series I own via my Kindle. And then the 3 main novels I currently own physically as well. So I didn't feel that I could really count them as Kindle Unlimited books. They are available on Kindle Unlimited, but that's not how I would read them. So I'm not counting Pucking Sweet, but I am currently reading that. So let's go ahead and we're going to spin for our first KU Clean Out book and we'll see what we get. Okay, so some of these I have no idea what they're even about, so I might have to look up a synopsis. But here is our first spin. Hopefully it will focus. Okay, so the first book I have is Where Does the Dark Live? This is a poetry book written by Natalie Megan over on Weirdo Book Club. So if you don't follow her, go follow her. I'm going to link her down below. I absolutely love Weirdo Book Club. I love it. Like, the whole channel is great. She does like rant reviews on dark romance and it's so fun to watch. Some of those dark romance have been some of my favorite books that I've ever read, and so it's so fun to see her rant about them because almost always I agree with like the takes that she has. Even though I loved the books, I understand why she doesn't. So this is poetry, I know that, and that is all that I know about this book. I saw in her story the other day that, like on Instagram, that someone had asked where to get her book from, and she had said that it was available on KU. So I went and I downloaded it because I had room on my Kindle Unlimited. So that is what we're going to start with. I'm going to start with that. And I don't know how long this book will take me to read. A couple of hours, I would guess. So I'm going to go start that, and then I will be back when I have finished. Hello friends. All right, so I have finished the book. I finished it. I have finished Where Does the Dark Live. It was beautiful. It's just a bunch of handwritten poetry, but I will be purchasing this book to own on my shelf. I absolutely loved it. I don't really know like what to tell you about what the poetry is. It all has to do with mental health, but I will tell you that if you have Kindle Unlimited, go and read it because it will be the best like 30 pages of your life. Okay, so I'm giving it 6 stars, and we're going to spin for a new book, which I will not read as quickly as I just read Where Does the Dark Live, and that's just simply because, y'all, I read it that quickly, just simply because it is what it is. It's a poetry book, so it wasn't like super hard to read or anything like that. Even on Kindle with it handwritten, it was very, like, the font that she writes in was very easy to read. So I am just marking this. Truly a 6-star. But yes, I will be purchasing this book to put on my bookshelf. I own no other poetry books, but yes, absolutely love that book. Hello friends. All right, we are going to go ahead and spin for our next Kindle Unlimited book, and that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and we're going to spin for our next book. Okay, so the next book I will be reading is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. This is a thriller. I have read one other book by this author and I really enjoyed it. The last book that I read by this author was Home is Where the Bodies Are. I bought that as a special edition, like the Walmart special edition, and I actually really want The Perfect Marriage as a special edition because it is a book that has been like redone as a collector's edition book, so that's what we're going to pick up. I will read y'all the synopsis really quick. Hopefully it's not spoilery. I know sometimes they can be with thrillers, so let me go grab it, maybe, if my phone will cooperate. Ooh, it's so warm up here. Okay, so The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Alright, so it says, from New York Times bestselling author Geneva Rose comes the definitive edition of her... Oh, this is just talking about the new edition of this because it's re-edited, features a sneak peek of the first 6 chapters of an upcoming sequel called The Perfect Divorce. So, Sarah Morgan is one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Washington, D.C. with a perfect case record and having made named partner before the age of 35, her life is going exactly as she planned. However, the same cannot be said for her husband Adam, a failed author who's grown to resent his wife's meteoric success as he feels it's come at the expense of the relationship. For almost 2 years, Adam has kept his affair with Kelly Summers a secret, but everything changes when her body is discovered at the couple's lake house and Adam is arrested on suspicion of murder. Sarah now finds herself facing her most challenging case yet when she vows to defend her husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. While Adam is certainly guilty of sleeping with Kelly, the question remains, is he guilty of killing her too? So this book is 368 pages. I cannot wait to read this. Geneva Rose does read very quickly. Again, this is a thriller, so most thrillers for me read really fast. So hopefully that means that I will fly through this and I will be able to come back and check in. So I will check in at like the 50% mark, probably not before that. And I don't know that I'll have a lot to say because it is a thriller, but I will be back when I have an update. Hello friends. So I have just finished Shadow and Bone. This was for our first spin, so absolutely loved this book. Give it 5 stars, or I'm sorry, 4.5 stars. I will be continuing this series. Wonderful, wonderful book. So yeah, that is our first Kindle KU pick. So there is going to be a clip where I am dressed differently, and that's where our spin is going to be, just simply because there was some snafu with that. So that's the easiest way for me to do it. So 4.5 stars. I will be continuing this series. I am adding it to my spreadsheet so that I know to continue this as we go. But I absolutely love this book. It was really good. I can't believe that it took me so long to actually pick this book up, but I'm glad that I did. So I really liked the world building and the characters in this. It does leave us on a bit of a cliffhanger because there's 3 books in this first trilogy, and then we have a duology and another duology. So cannot wait to finish the trilogy. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. So it's going to go away into my read books space, but really glad that we read this. Hello friends. All right, so I am here for this vlog because I have finished The Perfect Marriage. So I'm giving this book 6 stars. I will be continuing this series. I'm sorry that this is such a weird angle, but I was filming something else a second ago, so this is just where we are. But I did finish The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, which means that we need to spin for another Kindle Unlimited book. But let's talk about this book first really quick. So I am giving this 6 stars. Like I said, I really enjoyed this book. It had me gripped. I will say that Geneva Rose writes very complex characters. So the first 25 to 30% of this book was a little slow for me, but that's just because we were really getting to know our characters and fleshing them out, which I do actually really appreciate that. I did not see the twist in this coming. I finished it on sprints today with Brittany, so today is a Thursday, and I finished it on sprints with Brittany. So if you were there for that, you saw like my untethered like reaction, and I loved this book. This book was great. I will be purchasing this to have as a physical copy on my shelf because, wow, like absolutely 6 stars. And I don't give, what are these called? I don't give thrillers 6 stars usually, but this is probably by far the best thriller I've read in a long time. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to spin for another Kindle Unlimited book, try to get at least one more into this. At least started in this vlog. I may not finish it depending on what comes up on the wheel because I do have a couple of chunky fantasy on here, but we will see what I have in here and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and we will spin. Okay, I do actually own this book physically, so I will be right back. Okay, so the next book for KU Clean Out that we got was 5 Broken Blades. I do own this physically, however, I do have it on my Kindle in case I don't want to read it physically. I have like a really pretty sprayed edges version of this as well, which is a big reason that I'm not sure I actually want to read this physically. I may try to find the audiobook for this, but I've heard that the audiobook is not great. So either way, this is currently on my Kindle Unlimited. This will also knock out one of my 2025 self-destruct books, because this was a book that has been sitting on my shelf now for almost a year and it needs to get read or it needs to go. So that is where we are at with that. I don't really know anything about this. What's the best I'll ever win? I know the second one just came out and it's a Korean, it's like Korean romantasy. This is from Red Tower Books, hence the beautiful like edition of this book, because this was like a first edition that I bought at Walmart. So really, it's really pretty. But I really know nothing about this book. I'm going into this very blind. So we are going to start this one. Like I said, I do have it on my Kindle, but I do have it physically. I can probably find it on Libby at the library, or like on Libby for the audiobook as well. But we're going to move on to this one from The Perfect Marriage. So I will be back when I'm about 50% through this, if I DNF it, whatever, but when I have an update. So if I don't have an update before 50, like if I don't DNF before 50%, then I will come at the 50% mark with an update. So this is probably our last book for this month's KU clean out, but that is what we're reading, 5 Broken Blades. Okay, so the book I'll be reading specifically on my Kindle is One Cursed Rose. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I know that my friend Brittany has read this. I believe she's also read 5 Broken Blades. I will read this straight on my Kindle because I do have it, like I said, through KU. And it's a retelling. I love to read a retelling with my eyes. So that's what this is. I don't know a lot about this one other than that it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and her name is Alana, which says it means beauty. So it says, they christened me Alana, and while the name means beauty, beneath that surface is a depth I allow very few to see. I'm sole heir to Aquarius Social, a media giant about to succumb to an unseen enemy. My father's solution is to marry me off to the son of a competing family. My reaction, not a chance. Now I have just a week before the wedding to change my fate. So that's just a little bit of the synopsis. I don't know anything about this book, other than there was a special edition, like a limited edition hardcover, and I did not get my hands on that one. This one was the one I picked up at Barnes & Noble, and this was the only version of it they had. If I can find the hardcover, I will buy it because it's really pretty. Brittany has that version of it, but I couldn't find this book in any way other than this way anywhere around me. So I'm going to start this on my Kindle tonight, and so when I get to like the 50% mark, unless I have something that I want to talk about before that, I will come back and check in. But this one will be on my Kindle, and then I will also do 5 Broken Blades at the same time. So we're going to be doing 2 KU clean out books at once. That way I can read this on my Kindle and the other one as an audiobook. Hello friends. So I'm here to update, but also to close out this vlog. I'm feeling a little bit discouraged, I guess, but I ended up DNFing 5 Broken Blades, so I'm going to just end it here. I did make it about 21 pages into this book before I DNF'd, but there was something in here that was said that kind of gave me the ick. Yeah, it was just gross, you know? So I decided to DNF this book. It is going to be unhauled. It is on my 2025 self-destruct. So it was for both that and for KU clean out. So that is a book down for that. So I'm going to go grab my list really quick of the books that I read for this vlog, and we will go over really fast the books that I read for KU clean out. Okay, so I ended up reading a total of 2 books, and I DNF'd 1, and then I did start another one, but it's going to go into next month's KU clean out. So we're gonna go over really quick the ones that I finished. So I did finish Shadow and Bone. I gave this one 4.5, yeah, 4.5 stars. I really did enjoy this. I will be continuing the series. I actually have the rest of the series on my shelf, so I don't know that the rest of the series is on KU specifically, but I will be finishing this series hopefully this year. But I really did enjoy Shadow and Bone. The second book that I finished was The Perfect Marriage. I did finish that. I gave it 6 stars. Absolutely loved it. I will be owning a copy of this book. This was a thriller. Oh, I should have said Shadow and Bone is a YA fantasy book, and then The Perfect Marriage was a thriller, like a psychological thriller. Really good. It was a top tier thriller. And then I started One Cursed Rose, which I think I have right here. Yes. Okay. I started One Cursed Rose. I'm not very far into this one, but it's actually I'm going to let this carry over into next month's KU clean out. So it's going to just go on my shelf. I'm only about 2 chapters in, but I am really enjoying this. I just need to close this vlog out. I'm feeling a little bit discouraged. And then I did DNF 5 Broken Blades, unfortunately, and this will be unhauled. It's actually already listed up on my Pango, so if anyone was wanting to get their hands on this book with the sprayed edges and everything like that, it's like new. I didn't even really open this like to read it. I was listening to the audio, so there's that. That's all that she wrote. That's all that I have. So In total, I finished 2 books, DNF'd 1 book, and started 1 book. So like I said, One Cursed Rose will continue over into into February's KU Clean Out, because I do want to read it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I know this was a little shorter and a little more boring, but not every KU Clean Out is going to be like me reading 5-star books. You know what I mean? So if you did enjoy this video, if you do like this series on my channel, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, but you want to be subscribed and join the Reading with Neva fam, I don't really have like, I just call you all my friends. So I don't really have like a name for who we are, but if you want to join us over here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and all my links are down below. So there's Patreon. I'm so bad at promoting myself, but there's Patreon, there's wish lists, social media links, everything that you would need down below, and I will see y'all in the next video. Love you guys so much. Goodbye.